guys, it's Abby and Dan today, and today we're going to talk about 10 steps to scaling up your business. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now and click that bell so you're alerted when we take up our new video. So Dan, get going, let's start.
10 top tips, guys. Number one, first and foremost, is you need to be focusing on what you want to be as a business, not where you are. And what I mean by that, and I did touch very briefly on it in the previous video, is don't base decisions on where you are. You need to base your decisions on what you want to become. You know, if you want to be a £5 million business with a £5 million turnover, you have to start thinking like one, right?
100%. And the thing is, this is where mindset comes to it again, because you need to visualize what is it that you want to be. And do you know what? You don't need to tell us what you want to be. You know yourself in the heart of hearts what you want to be. So at the same time, now work towards it. A lot of people, depending on their background and so on, they tend to not want to tell their friends or family, oh, this is what I want to be. It's fine. Keep it to yourself, but start working up and growing into it. But in order to do that, you need to have that proven tool or system. So then you can follow it step by step, and that will show you how to do it.
Exactly. And that will take us on to top tip number 2. Make sure that you're ready and prepared for growth. When you start to scale up your business, things can start to crack. Weaknesses can be exposed and you cannot always fix them once the journey started. Now, you could be held back by your sales system. You could be held back by your sales processes. You could be held back by your mindset. You could be held back by cash flow, team, or all of the above, right? You need to think very carefully about how scaling up and growing your business will affect your company, okay? And you must be ready and your processes must be robust to deal with anything that happens. And there's also a number of ways that you can prepare for your business to scale up. How would you prepare for them, Abby?
Well, for me, honestly, in my mind, I'd put everything out on a piece of paper, like, for example, a big mind map. Just show me how I'm going to do things step by step. The way I work is I have to see it on a piece of paper. And I need to literally write it down so then I know what to do step by step. So imagine there's 1 to 5 steps. I'll literally say, okay, this is what I need to do for the first step. This is what I need to do for the second step. The more and more you do that for myself personally, that is how I know what exactly I need to do, what boxes I've ticked. And so I know everything will start going steady with it. Because a lot of people do it in so many different ways. But for me, I love writing things down and I have to see it. I'm that type of person. I can't just keep it in my brain.
True. Brings us on to top tip number 3. Now, top tip number 3 for me was learning from my competitors who have successfully grown. Now, my biggest competitors in the investment game are the high street brands. You have to think about what they've done. You have to think about how they've succeeded. For example, finding out how many staff they have, or finding out what their cheapest investment was, what their demographic is. That could give you a rough idea to how many staff that you would need or what the cheapest investment I would need. Then you need to know where and how they're selling it. And then you need to understand their business model and learn the lessons.
That is perfect what you just said, because I am very similar. With me, honestly, I love buying courses. If you know me, I just love buying courses because I love learning things. And what I do is, if you're my competitor, I'll buy your course. So I'm like that customer inside your course and I'm seeing how you've laid everything out. And then from there, I won't take it and then copy it. But what I'll do is You'll reinvent it. Yes, reinvent it. Because then what I'll do is I'll then build up my own one, a whole different platform, and I'll just have things very similar to the layouts that my competitor did. It scales as much as they did. So this is why, like, for me, this is what I do, because you have to see what your competitor does. You can't just go into this blindly without even knowing how they're doing it, how they're saying it, what their click funnel looks like, how they're getting people to buy, what is their pricing. All of these things are so important. For example, in America, they love doing $997 or $497, all of these things. But do you know what? I understand, and you see it everywhere. Like, once you start looking at a certain thing, you see it everywhere after. It's the algorithm as well. Like, the fact that the algorithm, it sees what you're looking at, so then it targets things that they think that you want to look at, which is good because it helps me as well. For example, I'll be on Instagram scrolling down and I see someone promoting a program. And that's because I just think that my competitor, that same person, they just do it from different angles. All these angles are so important. And these are the type of things that you're going to be learning in our webinars as well. And this is why we tell you that click our webinar link, book yourself in. Let's see how we can help you. Because literally all of these things we speak about in our webinar to help you and guide you and show you this is how to do it. And once you, honestly, knowledge is everything. I always say that. And when you know a certain thing, you're going to kill that market big time.
Absolutely. And then that brings us on literally top tip number 4. Protect your business values. And I'll say that again. Protect your business values. Yeah. Things can change very quickly, massively, when your business is growing. Okay. And scaling up, and many things will compete for your time and attention. This is where time management comes into it as well. You've got to be prepared for how quickly you will grow overnight. Also, you've got to realize the importance of safeguarding your business values, which must not be allowed to suffer. Because if you let your values suffer in one shape or form, then your business will collapse and you'll be like, poo. Because all of these values, they have helped you to be successful up to that point, right? So you've got to carry that on. You've got to protect your values. Can't express that enough.
Yeah, 100%. Like everything Dan said is spot on. You have to protect your business value. And do you know what? You need to know, what is your business worth? Imagine someone comes today and you built whatever you've built and they want to purchase your business. How much? Like, ask yourself this question. How much would you sell your business for? If it's less than 100 grand, got to do something. If it's more, good. Yeah. Because the thing is, understand that with what, for example, for me, the products that I have in my programs, they're very powerful. It helps a person scale up their business. So what I will say is, imagine someone comes and they want to buy your business. You know the potential, especially with the team that they'll have or whatever. And
like an example of somebody protecting their business values, look at McDonald's, okay? Now, if you go to any McDonald's in the world, they are laid out to the millimeter, exactly the same, okay? Now, every single McDonald's has values, and it's the values of McDonald's. In any franchise, if one of those values is missing, it is very quickly installed back because they run exactly the same. And do you know what I mean? It's the Golden Arches. It's a place for people to congregate. They have protected their values. Ray Kroc protected those values from day dot. And this was all obviously portrayed in the film. Top tip number 5, build a great team. I used to say build a great team of employees, but I don't like to use the word employees because it's your team. Yeah, you are part of that team. You're just a leader. You're not the boss, you're a leader. Whatever they do, whatever you ask them to do, can never be anything you're not willing to do yourself. Now, that is one of the values of being a good leader. As you scale and grow your business, you're likely to need more staff or to a bigger team. Now, your relationship with them might not be as close as it is with the previous team members. So this is what I say, and I love this quote, is what we teach others will last forever. Because what you teach the first person that you bring into your team, you need them to portray this and pass it on down through the team, so that if you ever do meet that team member that's like 50th down the line, you'll be able to click with them straight away because they would have already learned what you taught the first one. You see where I'm going with this, yeah?
I love it.
It is creating the right culture, consistency, and in the environment where people want to be, yeah, and they want to excel. They get out of the way, and you just let them get on with it. You just stay out of their way. They will get on with it. And when you see something slipping, you don't go in like, disciplinary. You're like, hang on a minute. How was you taught how to do it? Okay, let's try it that way, because bare basics and how you taught to do something works for a reason. That's why it's called the basics. And if you keep that, all team members must also be properly engaged, motivated, recognized, and rewarded.
Thank you, Dan. What Dan says is spot on, guys. Honestly, guys, this is so important. Understand, like, if you have your own business, don't treat them as
guinea pigs.
Yeah, guinea pigs.
It's your team.
Have respect for them. Understand that they're building your business as well, you know. Like, there's so many big companies out there. They've got the dirtiest bosses, and they're so rude they just treat their stuff like crap, and then that makes them not want to do it, and then they quit. Understand that you need to have that respect for them, and understand that what Dan said, if you won't do it, don't tell them to go do it. You need to understand, look, this is why for me personally, before I even brought on a team, I made sure I done everything myself. So then, because there's a lot of bosses right now that are getting these big boy companies and they don't know nothing about what that person's doing. And they say, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. But you didn't even sit in my place to do it.
If you want a McDonald's franchise, you have to work from the bottom up. You don't just get to pay for a franchise and start earning 1% a year in dividends. You have to work through every position before you can become a franchisee. McDonald's is the place. You want to fucking learn business? Get into a McDonald's. Like, watch McDonald's, research McDonald's, because the place just 100 million profit a year. Tell me another company that's doing that.
That's crazy. 100 million profit.
That was like 10 years ago.
That's mad. Just thinking about that, it's mad. I even forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, go to number 6 then.
Number 6, top tip number 6. Have rules for your team to follow. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about a strict regime, and it's just something that guides them, helps them, gives them a helping hand. Yeah, my business, I have a manifesto for myself because I've only got one person in my team, and he works on the phone for us. I do have like values myself, which I not instill, but I talk to him about it, because I just naturally talking to him about it, he's naturally just going to take them on, which he does. You know, we have great conversations, but what you need to do is have objectives and a strategy that enables you to work out what talent that you need, because you can't do everything. Now, you may be the best at everything in your company, but of course you are, because you started it, you scaled it up. You need a team for each certain thing. You don't need an all-rounder like yourself, because you can teach each team to do one part of what you can do. Yeah, I mean, there's no point just hiring people that walk out of university with a degree if they ain't got the attitude behind it. And there's no point hiring someone with the right attitude that doesn't have any experience, because the two go 2 and 2 together. Now, you can hire someone with the right attitude and no experience because you can teach them, but you're wasting time.
With what you said was perfect as well. A lot of people that come into universities, I don't have got a degree.
Yeah.
A lot of people do this thing where I remember when I was in university, there'll be so many people be like, oh yeah, I ain't got a degree. Oh, I ain't got my master's. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm looking at them thinking, okay, but you're a teacher. Sorry, I don't want to say nothing wrong with being a teacher, but what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter if you've got a master, it doesn't matter if you've got a degree. The fact is, where are you right now? Ask yourself that question. Where are you right now? Do you have your own business? Number 1. Number 2, is your business scaling if you do? Or number 3, are you working for somebody that you don't want to be in, that you have your own mindset with something, but you haven't put it to action? These are the type of questions you need to ask yourself, because a lot of people do this thing there. I remember even at school, when I failed my GCSEs, people would like laugh and be like, I ain't got an A star. Looking at them now, what are you doing? Sorry, but what are you doing? You're working for someone at the moment that you don't want to be in. Come on. These people, some people are very ignorant, honestly. They have this whole mindset where they just feel like, oh yeah, because I've got my GCSEs, because I've got a degree, I'm a star. It doesn't work like that, love. It does not work like that. You need to make sure that what is it that you honestly want to do, and are you doing it right now? If you're honestly in a place where you do not want to be in, that you're not happy in, rethink life, honestly. And sorry, I'm not trying to sound off rude. It just made me think about how people was to me at school.
I understand what you're saying, because it happens to me even now. But the way that I publicise myself and market myself is I market myself to people that are like me, in the terms that they've got an open mind. Now, the way that I recruit for my gaming company, the way that I recruit streamers and stuff like that, is I will just message them on Instagram or whatever social media, and I'll go, hey, I've got an opportunity. Do you want to hear it? And they'll go, some of them will go, no, I've already got like 10,000 followers. And I'm okay doing what I'm doing. I want to build my own brand. Now, had they listened to what I wanted to say, I could have brought them in, helped them grow themselves as their own brand, because that is what my mission to do is. And those that don't take the opportunity straight away, they later come back and they're like, oh, I didn't realize that you were this and that and this. And I'm like,
yeah.
You had your opportunity, get out. Yeah, you stomped on me when you thought I was a little guy, right? and that's what I'm like. But those that do take the opportunity, they cherish it. Yes. They do, because they're like, because then when they do find out who I am and what I do, they're like, where did you come from? A lovely feeling for people to have, and I love seeing that feeling because I have been there, and it's great. When you get the opportunity, you have got to grab it and just run with it. And if you fail, you fail. At least you tried. Yeah. Which takes us on to top tip number 7. Access outside expertise when required. I use somebody called Nate who runs all of my social medias because I haven't the foggiest of where to begin. And I don't have the time to do it all myself. So, and I'm not saying recruit, because recruiting might not always be the answer. So often it can be better to outsource tasks and functions to ensure the best outcomes, simply put. You also realize when you need to delegate responsibility, free up your time so that you don't get caught up in the day-to-day matters when your time can be devoted to growing your business. Operate at your pay grade, and then ask yourself truthfully if you have what it takes to grow the business as a leader.
That's the beauty of all of these. Like, so in business, I don't know how to say this, but in business, everything collabs together. You have a social media person, you have a person that's good with sales, you have a person that's good with customer service. All of these things are just so important. And this is why I say never feel like you have to do things by yourself. If you feel like you've got so much to do right now, let someone else do it and be happy to pay them. Honestly, it makes things feel so much better when that happens. And this is what people need to understand. A lot of people, I know, they love to just grab on, oh no, I can do this. And I used to be like that. I used to think, oh, well, I can do this and that by myself. But no, if you want to scale up, get people coming on board. Let them see your work. Let them see your worth.
Takes us on to top tip number 8. Never compromise on quality or consistency, okay? They both enable growth, okay? There's no point growing your business if your products or customer service deteriorates, because customers will go somewhere else. Team is key to maintaining quality throughout. Now, you will still make some mistakes when you're scaling up, but understand why they happen. Because if you can understand why they happen, then you can learn from them, and then you'll get better results. And make sure you don't repeat them.
When I was employing people at the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, anyone can do it. You know, I can train them. And the thing is, I was literally just wasting my time going over the same thing. So many people will drop out. All of these things, it gets a bit tiring. And this is why you honestly learn from it. Like there's all these little things that you tweak and learn from, and then things just start getting better after that. And even, for example, maybe your training process, how you're training your staff, rethink that, see how you're doing it. If you feel like, you know, this isn't working because these people are doing this and these are the ones you got trained at X, Y, Z, when you learn from your mistake, you implement what you've learned from it, and then things honestly just get better. That's what I'll say.
Number 9, once you have your plan, your objectives, part of developing a strategy for growth involves thinking about possible barriers to scale up. There are several factors which could thwart your ambitions to grow, such as lack of leadership skills, lack of funding, weak cash flow. Weak cash flow is usually one of the main reasons. And it's not that you've got a weak cash flow, you don't know how to spend it. Even being in the wrong premises. Being in the wrong premises can put a huge downfall. Now, I know we're like during a lockdown, etc. How many people that are watching this that have their own business premises, hand on heart, say that you are in the right place? Because depending on what business you are, there is a certain place where a demographic around you, which will be the perfect place to have a premise. Trust me.
What Dan said is correct once again. To be honest, look, if you feel like you don't have the money to hire a premises, rent out a lease on that premises, what you can do is do Zoom calls for training. Do Zoom calls for speaking to clients. or use WhatsApp or get a broadband. You know what I mean? You can work from home if you feel like, you're just starting out. I remember when I even first started everything, I thought to myself, yeah, I'd love to have a whole premises, people working X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. But then I said to myself, no, because that's just me wasting money. And sometimes people, from what we do anyway, you can literally be home doing what we do.
Yeah, so I can turn a room in my house into an office, and then I can claim back the rent.
Yeah, thank you.
The rent that I don't pay for it, I can claim it back.
Yeah.
How about that? I don't actually do that, but you can do that. You can rent yourself your room in your house, and you can claim it back from the tenant.
100%. And look, and what I will say is as well, if you honestly feel like you don't need to rent out a place, honestly, just work from home. Like, obviously, if you have a lot of kids, it's a bit hard, the noise and X, Y, Z. But all I'm saying is, don't feel like you need to just jump onto a premises if you don't have the funds for it. Because at the end of the day, business is commission. Yeah. And that is what we have to talk about commission another time.
If you don't want to work from home and you don't have premises, right? All you need is a Wi-Fi connection. And I've done this. Go to Starbucks, go to McDonald's. All you got to do is buy a coffee, which you're gonna buy anyway, because you're gonna have a coffee at home or whatever. If you go to these places, you will naturally gain at least one client a day, because someone will come behind you and they'll go, so what's that you're doing? Boom, sit down, let me get you a coffee and I'll talk you through it.
Honestly, sometimes it's literally in front of your eyes, but it's like we have to remove those scales, then you can see. So I know what we've just said today, there's been a light bulb that's popped in your head and you thought, that's what I can do. And this is why I say, guys, click down the live webinar link, which is right there, right at the top of the description section, and just book us in. Let us speak to you. Let us help you. We're here to answer all the questions. Make sure you leave a comment below so then we know what is it you want us to talk about. Because as I say, we're here to help you, and always you guys. Like, you guys are our audience, and we feel like if we can help you, we help ourselves.
Top tip number 10, it's not really a tip, it's more of a requirement. And it's a very hard requirement because you have to try to predict the future. And that is my top tip number 10, try and predict the future, okay? Now, setting your business up to grow, having the right products, processes, and people doesn't always guarantee a smooth ride, right? So you can still experience difficulties on your journey, which you need to spot well in advance before they damage your business, okay? Having alerts provides a solution. Simple numbers that help you spot that something isn't quite working. Then you can fix things or take evasive action. When things go wrong, often it's because people haven't recognized the signs, which can be evident months in advance. Honestly, you just have to know where to look. You've got to stay particularly close to your finances, monitor your cash flow, and measure your performance daily, because spending is happening every single day, and it can be one wrong pound spent which screws you up, okay? Because that will give you hundreds of opportunities a year to put things right, not just 12 times because you're only measuring performances every month. Never
leave your eggs in one basket. Always, how people are successful as well, they have different income coming in from different all type of ways. And that's another thing we have to talk about. If you're maybe struggling in one business, at least with your other one, this is going well. Do you see what I mean? Never leave your eggs in one basket and be like, okay, this is only what I do. Yeah. For example, Dan, he's got different companies, what he does, which is perfect. When you're doing that, there's different money coming. Like, literally, I'm doing a 360, money's here.
and the thing is, the businesses that I've chosen, for example, an investment fund, then I went on to a marketing company. So, who markets all of my investment advertisements? I do, through my marketing company. Then I got a gaming company. Who does all the advertising for that? I do, through my marketing company. But then, who also does marketing? Oh, my gaming company, because we've got streamers which live stream and market the product. Also for the companies that pay for marketing through my marketing company. So now I've got 2 essential marketing companies. I've got a clothing company. Funny enough, who does the marketing for that? I do. Every single one of my companies goes hand in hand with each other so that I never have to use another company. And if there's something new that I want to do, guess what I'll do? I'll create a company. And that's what it's all about. But I have the power to do that because I've got my other companies. Everything's there. Team, cash flow, everything. And I know what I want to do. And that's what it's about. I'm building myself an empire.
But honestly, so smart, like what Dan does. Honestly, guys, like just think about what he just said. Honestly, I would say every time we have our segment, always write things down, guys, because having a notebook and pen, this is what I always do. If I'm looking at anything, I have a notebook and pen all the time, or do it on your phone. But just write things down so you remember these things. A lot of people tend to watch something and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Then after you look at something else on internet and they forget. So always write things down when you learn things, because then, for example, I put it on my notes, but just write it down so then you look back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, X, Y, Z said this. Yeah, this is smart for me to do. Taking notes is a very important thing as well, guys.
Yeah, notes are the key to everything, If half the liars in the world actually wrote down what they lie about, they'd be fucking brilliant liars, because a bad liar doesn't remember what they've said.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And you will not remember what you said if you don't write it down, yeah? The faintest of ink is stronger than the faintest of memories.
Yes. So, guys.
Whoa. Shit just got deep.
Guys, so I hope you enjoyed our segment today. It was me and it was Dan. Guys, before we end today, subscribe today. Click that bell so you get notified. And we'll see you next time in the Recruitment Objective.
Guys, subscribe. Get ahead of the game. See you next time.